I think the thing that motivates me most is just really kind of my family and the people who supported me. One of the things that I'm most proud of is just being an Eppers and having the last name. All my brothers did a great job of kind of taking our family name and making it one that I think people respect.
Matt's the youngest of, there's 5 of us, so he had 4 older brothers. He was tiny. Matt was very tiny. We always called him Little Matt. But he was aggressive.
He enjoyed playing with Matchbox cars. He had quite a collection of those. So anywhere we went, he would always have a couple of his Matchbox cars, and he could just entertain himself, plus watch his brothers.
I grew up in a very athletic family. All my brothers played sports, so for me it was, just natural to get into sports, and some of my earliest memories are, either at my brother's games or kicking a soccer ball around or doing something like that.
When he was 4 years old, he got his first mitt. And my husband and I both were like, no, because we've always played soccer. And he, right away, fell in love with baseball, and he has been passionate about it ever since.
Baseball is something that my mom's side, they're all kind of a big baseball family over there, and none of my brothers played, but it was, I think, a graduation party, my brother John's graduation party. They all came up and we were playing wiffle ball in the backyard, and it's the first time I'd ever played baseball, and I just kind of fell in love with it. All my brothers, we were kind of known as a soccer family. That was the big sport that we all played. It was a sport we traveled, and so for me soccer was natural. Getting into that was probably the first sport I ever played. And so I played soccer growing up, travel soccer. I got into basketball, played travel basketball. I always kind of had an interest to kick, and the opportunity presented itself my sophomore year, so played football as well.
Matt was pretty lucky, I think, because he was able to watch his brothers as they played sports, and all of them to a T. They were not the kind of kids that got angry, through chairs, through their helmets.
Matt drew upon qualities from all of us, and the good qualities, and defined himself as the youngest brother, but with a combination of all of us. At the end of the day, there's an argument amongst all of us brothers, who's the fastest, who's the strongest, who's the best athlete. And the truth of the matter is, Matt was always the best athlete.
Baseball was always the #1 sport for me, and the sport that really drew me in. Baseball is also the only sport throughout my life that I never really minded going to practice. All the other sports, practice was just something, until I could get to the game. But baseball is that one I didn't really mind doing the little things, and so I think, there's just something about it.
It was April 8th, 2013. It was Easter Sunday. He had gone to batting practice.
We were hitting and my back just kind of felt weird, but it was after I was done hitting, so I'd taken my last round and I was just sitting down on a bucket. My back started kind of feeling weird. And then I got in my car, and the hitting place is about 5 to 7 minutes away from my house. So 3 or 4 minutes down the road, about a mile away from my house, got stopped at a red light, and it just hit me like a truck. I was having trouble breathing. And it was one of the worst pains I've ever had in my life, kind of hit me in the chest.
It was scary, but when I asked him what was wrong, he said it feels like there's a knife in my back. And his father had the same symptoms, so I'd been through that with him.
Since we had been through it with me, it wasn't as scary as it could have been, I think, for somebody, another family or another child that had no experience with this.
I said a prayer, and he just put his hand on my knee, and he just said, "Mom, it's going to be okay." Him comforting me instead of me worried about him.
They took me in and did an x-ray or something and determined it was a collapsed lung, and it was a spontaneous pneumothorax. That night, they kind of debated with the doctor whether they were going to do a surgery, which would eliminate it, or they were going to do a small procedure, which would, knock down the chance of it happening, only about 25% ever happening again. They made the decision to just do the small procedure, and they went in and pushed a tube through my rib cage, and I just remember hearing the air come out of my chest. Just sounded like air coming out of a tire, and it was pretty wild. And I was out for about 2 weeks, and then I came back and I got to play again.
He played summer ball that summer, and almost 3 months to the exact date, we were at Western Michigan, and it happened again.
The second time was a real sad day, not only for Matt, for us, because he was right in the middle of baseball season. There's a lot of scouts that were looking at him.
I remember, them coming in and telling me, yeah, it was your lung again, it collapsed, we're gonna have to do a surgery. Went in there, wasn't really too nervous until I got in the doors. And then I just remember looking up, and it was just like in the movies, you got the lights, the nurses are all masked up, and it was just like, wow, this is really gonna happen. The nurses came in and laid me on another stretcher, and then they strapped my left arm above my head, my right arm to my side. And that's when I was kind of like, man, this is really happening.
In the hospital, Coach Maloney called Matthew. I saw a lot of his character in that, because the first thing he asked, it wasn't about baseball, he asked Matthew, how are you?
Just how he handled that call meant a lot to me personally, because I just knew what kind of kid he was, how bad he wanted to play. And that kind of, in my mind, helped solidify what we already were thinking, that we'd recruit him. So that didn't stop us one bit.
To find a coach who I knew really cared about me on a personal level was, very, very attractive. And just, like I said, one of the major reasons why I'm here today.
We are, as a family, and I think, just humble about this. I don't know what to say. I'm so proud, but you can't describe being a father sitting in the stands and watching your son play D1 baseball. It's hard for me to explain how I exactly feel. It's just pretty cool. Pretty cool.
There's no doubt in my mind that whether Matt goes on to play Major League Baseball or enters the workforce, that he will be successful in whatever he does.
He respects and loves his brothers, and I think the best thing about Matthew is he's got a little bit of his older brothers in him. He always has, and he's just a well-rounded young man.
All the experience that I've had, and all the people that have been lucky enough to support me have taught me is just, if you want something bad enough, go get it. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody says no, it doesn't work out. It's tough, it hurts, sometimes it sucks, it hurts a lot sometimes. But at the same time, at least you tried. For me, all my experience is, if you want it bad enough, go get it, don't give up. Find a way to make it happen.